Hello everybody, my name is Valentina Ringo and this is my work in process video number 2 for Thesis 1 Spring 2024. So let's get right into it. So I'm just going to do a quick little overview of my work in process video number 1 where I had left off with these images right here. So as we can see, I'm just establishing very basic color blocking within the composition right here, where I am identifying which colors are going to go where, what's going to go where, for example, the dishes or the candelabra or the orchids. So very, very beginning phases of my painting. The image on the left is probably a couple of days difference, maybe like 2 days after the image on the right was taken, but just to show a little more detail and a little zoom in of the face as well. So another thing I wanted to talk about from my work in process 1 video is this quote right here, which is, "Sweet is the lore which nature brings. Our meddling intellect misshapes the beauteous forms of things we murder to dissect." And this quote has been a running influence in my thesis. And as we go along, I kind of go a little more in depth with this quote and the idea of murdering to dissect. And its influence on this painting as a whole. So yeah, so what now? I finished color blocking, I finished the shading, I finished the highlighting. So where does my painting go from there? So this image right here is a little more developed than the previous images that we have seen. So as you can see, the figure is pretty much established. The dishes are established. The tablecloth is also very established. The lighting as well. We can see the difference between like the left here where the light is more prominent and the shading on the right. And honestly, at this point of this image, I had felt like I was doing a continuous back and forth on my painting. I felt like I was taking 5 steps forward, 6 steps back, and I really feel like I wasn't really moving along. Like I just felt like I was going back and forth on the same things, whether it was the orchids or the dishes or the candelabra. I just felt like I wasn't really anywhere close to finish, which honestly was a very interesting challenge. And luckily I was able to manage to kind of outgrow that phase of the painting, which I feel like a lot of other artists usually get to at some point with their work. And mainly I was able to kind of grow out of that and phase out of that through the face. So I'm actually incorporating this image, which I had briefly talked about a couple seconds ago, to show the development of my painting. So I was really struggling here to kind of grow out of this like flat imagery of the face. I was really struggling to incorporate a lot of volume, incorporate the proper skin tones, especially since the face is my face. It was something really hard to kind of make my face not only look like my face but feel like my face too. So this is the beginning of the face. And as I went along, where I incorporated more warm tones, more cool tones, more more diverse palette within the face, I was able to get this. So obviously, this is not the final image or the final composition for the face either. But it was a huge breakthrough for my painting, where I can finally say that I felt like I was really getting somewhere, especially with the figure and the composition as a whole, which helped me kind of break through this painting limbo I was in. So as I was moving along with this painting, one of my absolute favorite things that I had incorporated was this alizarin crimson. Oh my God, was this color just so enjoyable to work with. Like, look how vibrant it is next to this Venetian red in the back. Everything about this red was just so eye-catching, even on the palette. It was just so amazing to be able to work with it. I was just geeking out, fascinated the whole time. And I had mainly used this for the orchids. Before, I was really struggling with making the orchids flat. I had incorporated this quinacridone magenta. I didn't pronounce it right in the last video either, but I had incorporated the magenta. I was really struggling the same way I was struggling with the figure. I was struggling with the orchids. It was just too flat. And luckily, this alizarin crimson really helped bring out the colors in the orchids. It helped bring more volume, and also it made it look a lot more alive, which I'm really happy that with the result of it, honestly. So now I'm going to start part 3, which is just going to be a little review of the final weeks, and it's going to be a lot more videos and me talking over the videos. Here's a very early on image of my thesis just to demonstrate the evolution and development of the composition as a whole. As we can see with every image and every video, the figure becomes a lot more confident on the piece. The dishes and the perspective of the dishes become a lot more present, and everything just starts coming together very well. This video right here, I was actually in this limbo phase that I had mentioned earlier with my painting, where I felt like I just kept going back and forth from the orchids to the figure to the dishes to the orchids to the figure to the dishes, and not making much to any improvement. And it really wasn't until I focused on the hands on the foreground, which you can see here, and the face, I was finally able to feel like I had reached a major milestone within my painting and my thesis, and which honestly helped me move along very well. And as we can see with this video right here, there's a huge jump from the previous video to this one. The face is completely different. I really felt like the face was finally starting to look like me. The figure was finally looking like me. And yeah, we can see in this image, one of the biggest milestones was honestly just finishing the plates. Now, as we can see in this sped up video, I added oysters and lemons to kind of go along with the symbolism that I had mentioned in my previous work in process video, where lemons represent rejection and the oysters represent intimacy. So one of the major milestones that I had hit was the sketch of the fruit bowl, the breadboard, and the silverware and cups, which you can see the sketches here, and then we can see one of the finalized images as well. So here is one of the final images, what to expect for my Thesis 1 review, and luckily I was able to share it with everyone now for my work in process 2 video. So I look forward to showing everyone my work for the review. So thank you for watching. Bye.